to the Clueless Catholic Podcast. Today we're entering one of the most unforgettable stories in the Old Testament, the life of Joseph.
Yep, we've all heard the phrase, from the pit to the palace. Well, this is where it begins. Joseph's story is full of betrayal, injustice, faith, and resilience.
We're covering Genesis chapters 37 through 39, where everything starts to fall apart for Joseph. Or does it?
Each one of us will walk through one chapter in a storytelling format, and after each one, we will dig into real-life takeaways that we can relate to. So let's get started.
And today I'm Terri. And today I'm Terri, and tomorrow I'll probably be Terri as well. And this is my sister.
I'm Karen, and this is my husband, Michael.
All right, so the three of us are going to do this today. So I'm doing chapter 37, titled The Coat, the Pit, and the Plan. So Joseph is the youngest and most beloved son of Jacob. He is given a richly ornamented robe, like the multicolored dream coat, if you've heard that one, a sign of honor and favoritism that only fuels his brother's hatred. Genesis 37:4. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Then Joseph has dreams of his brother's sheaves bowing to his, and of the sun, moon, and stars honoring him. Instead of keeping quiet, he shares them. One day, Jacob sends Joseph out to check on his brothers in the fields. When they see him coming, they plot. Genesis 37:19. Here comes that dreamer, they said to each other. They strip him of his robe and throw him into a dry cistern. Later, they sell him to Ishmaelite traders for 20 shekels of silver. Genesis 37:28. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him. They take his robe, dip it in goat blood, and show it to their father, who assumes the worst. Meanwhile, Joseph is led away to Egypt. It looks like the end, but it's just the beginning. So in just that little summary, have you ever let envy lead you to hurt someone, even subtly? I would say I myself probably have in my lifetime.
I'm sure we probably all have. But then when you think about it,
What?
oh, sorry, you go again.
No, I said I'm not proud of it, but I probably did. I can't think of something off the top of my head, but yeah.
I know, I was thinking the same thing. And it's like you think of things, you don't realize that you're actually doing it. And you're thinking those thoughts or you're doing those things. I like to not think that I've done it either, but I think we all probably have. So,
Right.
yeah.
And what do you do when someone else gets the attention or favor you want?
It's hurtful sometimes, I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would go into a corner and pout a little bit, but the cool thing, at least for what I normally would take away from this is I don't stay in that place too long. And I try to think of like how to get myself out of those situations and think of the brighter side of life. And it's not all about me.
Yeah.
Right. So
obviously God has something better for me.
Absolutely.
That wasn't for me, but he probably has something better. And usually, a few days or weeks later, then, yep, something better. So
something better. We always say, put on your big girl panties, right?
That's right.
Get over it.
I like that. What about you, Michael? What do you have to say?
Nothing. I got nothing.
Well, there you go.
He's all holy today. So.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, Michael.
We will continue with Karen then.
No, I was going to say Michael is more the silent one. And so if I had to speak on his behalf, he would be silent for a while. And he just kind of struggles internally. But he'll eventually get out of it. But yeah, he doesn't show like an outwardly performance. There's nothing there. He's more quiet.
Yeah. I would say
Like,
it depends on the mood. Whatever my mood is. If I'm in a good mood, I'll be like, nah,
yeah,
but if I'm in a bad mood, yeah, I'll complain about it, vent, whatever.
yeah, you will.
Usually to you.
That's right. That's right.
You would not believe it.
That's right. We have those conversations, but you know what? At the end of it, we're just like, okay, now we're calmed down. We needed just to vent it out, right?
Yeah,
So.
for sure.
All right, so I will continue with chapter 38. So in my chapter is with Judah and Tamar. And so I had to remember who Judah was, because Judah's not the Judah that we know in the New Testament. That was the other thing too. Joseph in this story is not Mary's Joseph.
No.
So you and I had this conversation. I was like, what? It's not? And it's just, Michael will say you're so silly, but I guess I just didn't put two and two together.
If you don't really read the Bible, especially, I'm not saying you have to read it from front to cover, but if you don't read it, you don't make that, connection. You just assume there's only one Joseph.
That's right.
There's only one Judah. That's
right.
Because you did not read, that there's the name multiple times. So yeah, we're learning.
We're learning together.
We're not as clueless.
No. All right. So Judah, just to bring us back. So Judah is Joseph's brother, the son of Jacob. And so that's Judah. So Judah left home, and we'll talk about why Judah's brought into the story later. But Judah left home and he found a woman and married her. So trivia question is, what was the name of the woman Judah married? So don't answer, Terri. We want the others to put it in the comments if you know. Who was Judah's wife? What was her name? So they had 3 sons. Their names were Er, and Onan was the second son, and the third son, I say Sheila, but I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. You pronounced it something different, but Michael doesn't know. When Michael doesn't know something, that's a shock to me. So anyway, so Judah arranged for to be married to Tamar. And apparently was not a very nice person. So the Lord actually took his life. So instead of being married to Tamar, Onan was going to marry her, because there was a law in the land basically saying that the brother of a man who dies must provide an heir on behalf of the deceased. Can you imagine?
Yeah, they
I can't imagine that. So Onan went ahead and married Tamar, but he didn't want to have children, thinking because that was really Er's heir and not his own. So basically, he had sex with Tamar, but pulled out. So she wouldn't get pregnant. That's probably the most polite way I could say that. So the Lord was not happy about that action and took Onan's life. So I'm thinking here that Judah must have really liked Tamar. So sent her to go live with her parents until Sheila. God, I wish I really knew how to pronounce that name. But anyway, Sheila was old enough to marry her.
Maybe Shayla?
Maybe Shayla. That sounds better, doesn't it? Okay, I'll go with Shayla.
I don't know.
All right. So Shayla was too young to marry her at the time. So sent Tamar away to go back to live with her parents. But in reality, Judah didn't really want him to marry her because he thought the elder 2 were supposed to, and they both died. So he was afraid that if he did that, then Shayla would as well. So anyway, after some time, Judah's wife passed, and Judah went to go tend some sheep. And Tamar knew that Judah was tending sheep, and also knew that, not remember how to say that, Shayla was also now old enough. But that promise of that marriage was never brought to her. So she decided to go ahead and disguise herself And Judah thought that she was a prostitute. So there you go. So then Judah says, hey, that's a prostitute, and he wants to have sex with her. So Tamar asks, how much will you give me to have sex with you? And he says, a goat will be my payment. So Tamar was like, what guarantee will you provide me for this goat? And Judah left his identification seal and its cord and a walking stick. So when I read this, I was like, is that like your license plate on a lanyard? I don't know. But that was the first thought that came to my mind. If I had to put it real day, it's your license plate on a lanyard. And a walking stick.
All right.
I know, right? So they had sex. So Judah and Tamar had sex, and she became pregnant. So Judah sent his friend after some time. So that, Judah went back home, sent his friend to go deliver the goat to Tamar. But again, he didn't know that that was Tamar. So his friend was like, I can't find her, and started asking around town, saying, hey, where's that prostitute? And nobody knew what he was talking about. So, so his friend went back to Judah and said, hey, there, nobody knows of this prostitute that you're speaking of. And Judah's like, well, she has my stuff. So whatever, I'm just going to keep the goat. So 3 months later, Judah found out Tamar was pregnant and was the actual prostitute. So he was livid, let's just say. And he wanted her to be burned. So I'm thinking burned at the stake, right?
Oh.
So they were taking Tamar out to the burn site, and Tamar was like, hey, I have the stuff of this guy who's the father of my child. And so then they were like, oh, that's Judah's stuff. And Judah realized that that was his stuff. So he was like, oh man, I'm caught now. So then he realized that this must be his punishment for having sex with Tamar and not arranging that marriage with Shelah. So Tamar had twins, and here's where I'm going to read through the Bible because there was no way I could figure out how to storytell this part. So this was chapter 38, verse 27. When the time came for Tamar to give birth, it was discovered that she was carrying twins. While she was in labor, one of the babies reached out his hand. The midwife grabbed it and tied a scarlet string around the child's wrist, announcing, this one came out first. But then he pulled back his hand, and out came his brother. What? The midwife exclaimed. How did you break out first? So he was named Perez. Then the baby with the scarlet string on the wrist was born, and he was named Zerah. I struggled reading that because I was like, you have one baby. That's enough. Two. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. These hands are coming out. What in the heck is going on here? So anyway, so my reflection points. So Onan refused to fulfill his duty with Tamar. What does this tell you about God's view of responsibility and justice?
Well, at first I was thinking, well, it sounded like to me Tamar was trying to be Holy Ghost Jr., if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know?
That's kind of what I was thinking too, is like, didn't she take matters into her own hands later on as well?
Yeah.
And
I mean, so it was disobedience on both ends.
Yeah. Yeah. This is heavy stuff. Who knew?
I know.
All right. Let's see. Do you believe God can redeem the messy parts of your own story? So I feel like this story is pretty messy with all this craziness here with the brothers and prostitution and schemes. Again, lots of schemes in the Bible.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I think that, yes, God can redeem all that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like, everybody's life is not perfect. We all have our messy parts, and God's just waiting for us to return. He's just giving us chance after chance after chance to return. That's the beauty. the beauty of our Lord. So
I agree.
there you
Good
go,
job.
Michael. What do you have? Anything?
No, you covered it really well.
I covered it well.
I thought you did really great. Yeah, I loved it. I love that summary. That was great. Good job.
Thank you. All right, you're up.
What time is it?
Oh, what time is it? What does it matter?
Just see how much time I can take.
Oh,
You have 15 minutes. Go.
13 minutes. All right. So we switched back to Joseph, and if you remember a few weeks ago, I talked about how there were multiple sources in Genesis that were pulled together to create the book. And Terri's section came from the let's see here, from the Elohist source. So Lord in that source was called Elohim. And my section comes from the Yahweh source. So the Lord in here is called Yahweh. And it sort of repeats a little bit of the last part of Terry's section. Joseph was taken down to Egypt, and Potiphar, who was a courtier and chief steward of the Pharaoh, bought him from the Ishmaelites. Potiphar had seen that Joseph was being blessed by the Lord, and so put him in charge of everything in the household. Yes, he was still a slave, but he was in charge of everything. Basically, nobody had more authority than Joseph, except maybe Potiphar. And the Bible goes on to say that Joseph was a pretty good-looking guy, kind of like me, you know. But he, Potiphar's wife took a notice to Joseph and was like, "Oh, hey, come sleep with me." Joseph's like, "Look, my master has given me charge of everything in the house and has left nothing away from me except for you, because you're his wife. How could I do this great evil before God?" And she tried day after day to get him to lie down with her and have sex with her. And he's wearing his cloak one day, and all of the household servants were out of the house. And she grabbed a hold of his cloak and said, "Lie with me." And he shakes himself out of his cloak and he runs off, and he's like, "I'm not going to lie down with you." And she decides at that point to cry rape and screams really loud. Everybody comes running, and she's like, "Joseph tried to take me and make sport of me." Potiphar comes home, and she repeats the story again, saying, "He's trying to make sport of me. He's trying to have sex with me. And I took his cloak, and here he is," and all this. And he fled outside. And Potiphar, without getting Joseph's side of the story, takes Joseph and throws him in jail. So things are going from okay to worse again. But once again, the jailer sees that Joseph is blessed by God, even in a bad situation, and he puts him in charge of all of the prisoners and all of the happenings that are going on inside the jail. So he's still in a bad situation, but it's made best by people recognizing that he's favored by the Lord in those situations. And that's it for my section. We'll pick it up with the interesting stuff next week. But couple discussion questions. Am I living with integrity when it's costly? Because Joseph was in an easy situation to fall subject to temptation with Potiphar's wife, and probably could have gotten away with it. But he knew where he was supposed to be living and how he was supposed to be living. Do I or do you do that on a day-to-day basis, even when it's going to cost us more than it seems like it's worth, do we still keep our integrity and our honesty in those situations?
It's hard. It's hard. This is why I get in trouble a lot when I do. when I am, what is the word I wanted to use? When I have integrity, when I am honest, it's hard, right? Because the outcome is usually not as good as you would have hoped, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you have to have those hard discussions, and they may not go so well. But you gotta do what you do, right?
Say that again, Terry.
Sometimes you just want to take the easy way out.
The easy way out.
Way out, or
Yeah.
a little white lie, or whatever, instead of the 100% integrity way, which is sometimes harder. Most of the time,
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah,
Be accountable or what have you.
that's right.
So then what keeps me grounded when in temptation or faced with false accusation? For me, it's looking at the blessings in my life. You look at what you have in comparison to what could be put in front of you. And if you really peel it back, it's never as good as what you already have.
Yeah. There's this song. If anybody's a Nashville fan, remember the show Nashville from years ago?
Oh my gosh,
I watched it like
show,
on repeat. I know. But there's a song that's called Life That's Good. And it just brings you home, you know? You do have a life that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that keeps me grounded is, God is watching. Even if nobody else is watching, God is always watching.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do good. Maybe nobody knows. You don't have to talk about it. God knows.
God knows.
That's what helps keep me grounded, especially against false accusations. I know God knows.
Yeah.
I don't have to prove it to anybody. God knows.
That's right.
Yep.
That's why we have each other as sisters, best
Yep.
friends, even those friends out there, and husbands when he feels like he wants to listen to me. But
Sometimes
but
goes in one ear out the other, probably.
it does. But again, it just goes back to kind of what we're saying before. Just sometimes you just got to vent it out, talk it out, and then sometimes as I'm speaking, I realize what I'm actually saying, and I'm like, that was just the dumbest thing I thought, and then yeah. Like, yeah, don't agree with me. But I think we all do that. So that's kind of where that goes. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right. So I do have a question. I know we're going to wrap up here pretty soon, but I did mention on my part, why did Judah and Tamar's story come in between this? And you had told me, and I forgot already what you told me.
Yeah, why did it? What? Yeah, I don't know why. Why did it?
Well, the notes that I had said that it was basically filling the time in the storytelling, giving leeway to the fact that there was a space of time that the family didn't know what was going on with Joseph. So they were just sort of using that to fill the space, to give the fact that time had passed with Joseph from this point to this point. And instead of saying a lot of time had passed, they told a story about Judah and his goings on.
I like it.
Yeah, we still learned a lot from it. So
yeah, for sure. And are you going to reveal your answer?
Oh, my answer to my trivia question?
Yes.
Well, I gotta go back because I don't remember how to say her name. I wrote it down because I was like, what is the name? And I don't know. It's interesting to me, like, we hear all these names throughout the Bible, and some of them are like, remember this, right? And I didn't get that from this story, why I would have to remember it, but her name was Shua, Shua.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
No,
Shua
Shua was her father.
No, it said, hold on. I will tell you. Oh my God, if I'm wrong.
Uh-oh, here it is. Here we go.
Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah. There he saw a Canaanite woman, the daughter of Shua. Oops.
I was wondering where you were going to find her name from, but I was letting you go.
So there's the answer to the trivia
There's
question.
no name. She didn't have a name. There's your answer. I told you all from the very beginning, I am the clueless one.
Leave it to the clueless Catholics to not have an answer to a trivia question.
Hey, that was a really good trick question. So I wish that somebody would have said there was no name. Silly. Trick. Fools on you.
Did somebody comment? Did somebody comment on that?
Oh, Angela.
Maybe Angela.
Son, Perez are also in the line of Christ. So we needed the backstory. Yes, Angela. Yeah.
That is true. That is true. I do remember that part because, Perez becomes part of the line that leads to King David. And who
That's
else?
right.
Jesus.
Jesus. Yep. That's right.
Yeah, good job, Angela. Woo, woo.
Yeah, yay. So happy you're here again. I should have put the link out for anybody to join us. Anyway, we'll do that next time. All right. Any other follow-up summaries or anything?
I think that's about it.
All right. I'm going to go into the litany. Let me put the response here. The response is, Lord, help me trust you. Okay. For the times we feel betrayed by those closest to us.
Lord, help me trust you.
For temptations that come and lead us astray.
Lord, help me trust you.
For the favor you grant even in dark places.
Lord, help me trust you.
For the mystery of your plan that unfolds slowly but surely.
Lord, help me trust you.
Lord, when the path is dark and the way uncertain, help us to trust your presence in every turn. Strengthen our faith through betrayal, temptation, and trial, and shape our hearts to follow you to lead us home. Amen.
And well, Joseph, good job. In closing, Joseph's life teaches us that God's plan can survive betrayal, setbacks, and even injustice. He doesn't give up on us.
And even in the chaos, like Tamar's story, God's faithfulness never runs out. His grace covers every detour.
Joseph was just getting started, and maybe so are we, right in the middle of our own chapter 39.
Thanks for watching the Clueless Catholic Podcast.
We'll continue Joseph's story next time. And trust us, it only gets better from here. Until then, see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.